Kody Brown's Special Forces role wins fans over and fuels positive hype for Sister Wives' future. Hello friends, I am Elena, welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Kody Brown, known for his long-running appearance on TLC's Sister Wives, has taken a surprising turn in his public image by joining the demanding reality competition series Special Forces, World's Toughest Test. This unexpected move has caught both critics and longtime viewers off guard, and perhaps more surprisingly, it has sparked an unusual wave of positive attention toward both Kody and the future of Sister Wives. For years, Kody Brown has been one of the most polarizing figures on reality television. As the husband at the center of the Brown family's plural marriage, his relationships with his wives have been documented through triumphs, disputes, separations, and emotional confrontations. Public perception of him has often skewed negative, with viewers questioning his decisions and leadership style. However, by stepping into the world of Special Forces, Kody has found an opportunity to showcase sides of himself that many had never seen before. The show itself is a grueling competition that puts contestants through a series of extreme physical and mental challenges modeled after real-life Special Forces training. Contestants are pushed to their limits in endurance, mental toughness, teamwork, and problem-solving. It's not a program where charm or reality TV drama alone can win over audiences. Success or even survival on the show requires grit, resilience, and adaptability. From the very beginning of his run on Special Forces, Kody appeared determined to face the challenge head-on. Viewers noticed a shift in his tone and demeanor. Rather than defensiveness or frustration, he displayed a willingness to learn, take orders, and work as part of a team. In many ways, it seemed as though the harsh training environment forced him to strip away his usual bravado and focus on the task at hand. This unexpected humility resonated with audiences. Fans who had been critical of Kody on Sister Wives found themselves acknowledging his perseverance and work ethic on Special Forces. Social media threads began shifting from criticism to praise, with some viewers admitting they were impressed by his dedication. In an era where reality TV stars often face intense scrutiny, this kind of image turnaround is rare, and it may be exactly what Sister Wives needed to inject fresh energy into its narrative. One key factor in this positive shift is that Special Forces places all contestants on equal footing. There are no family politics, no long-standing grudges, and no pre-existing alliances. Kody wasn't the husband or the leader. He was simply another participant being pushed through physically demanding and mentally exhausting trials. The stripped-down environment made it easier for audiences to assess him as an individual rather than solely as a controversial figure within a family dynamic. This newfound respect from viewers also hints at a broader potential for Sister Wives. For over a decade, the show has documented the Brown family's plural marriage, but recent seasons have focused heavily on conflict, separations, and emotional strain. While these elements have kept the show dramatic, they have also worn down some of the fan base, leading to calls for either a fresh direction or even a conclusion to the series. Kody's Special Forces appearance may have arrived at the perfect time. By showing him in a different light, one where he is disciplined, cooperative, and willing to push himself beyond comfort zones, it creates the possibility of reframing how Sister Wives continues. Instead of only following the fallout of past conflicts, the series could explore new aspects of Kody's character and growth, possibly bringing in more positive or inspiring narratives. Timing also matters in terms of publicity. TLC, always aware of how cross-network appearances can influence viewership, likely recognizes that Kody's positive reception could translate into renewed interest in Sister Wives. A lead character gaining public goodwill can shift the tone of an entire reality show's fan discourse. If even a portion of the Special Forces audience tunes into Sister Wives to see more of this new Kody, ratings could see a meaningful boost. Another interesting development is how Kody's Special Forces experience could reshape his relationships within the Sister Wives storyline. On the show, his dynamic with his remaining wife, Robin, and his relationships with his ex-wives have been central points of discussion. The mental and emotional lessons learned from surviving intense military-style training could influence how he approaches communication, leadership, and conflict resolution back home. This, in turn, could provide compelling new material for the series. Longtime viewers of Sister Wives know that Kody's confidence has often been a double-edged sword. On one hand, it has helped him navigate complex family arrangements and defend his choices publicly. On the other, it has sometimes led to stubbornness and misunderstandings. Special Forces offered a setting where confidence alone wouldn't carry him through. Instead, success required cooperation, adaptability, and a willingness to listen to others, skills that many critics have long said he needed to develop. It's worth noting that not everyone has suddenly become a Kody Brown supporter. Some viewers remain skeptical, questioning whether the humility seen on Special Forces will last once he returns to the more familiar and emotionally charged setting of Sister Wives. Others suggest that the controlled environment of the competition show doesn't necessarily translate to real-life change. However, even skeptics have acknowledged that his performance has been more impressive than they expected, which is itself a significant shift. Media coverage has also played a role in amplifying the positive hype. Headlines highlighting Kody's perseverance, physical endurance, and surprising camaraderie with other contestants have circulated widely. This coverage contrasts sharply with the often critical or scandal-focused headlines he's received in recent years. Positive press not only boosts his personal brand but also indirectly benefits TLC by generating renewed curiosity about the series that made him famous. From a broader perspective, Kody's participation in Special Forces fits into a growing trend of reality TV stars seeking to reinvent themselves through competitive or skill-based programming. These shows offer a chance to escape typecasting, demonstrate personal growth, and reach new audiences. For Kody, this reinvention seems to be working better than most expected. As Special Forces continues to air, fans are keeping a close eye on his journey, speculating about how it will impact Sister Wives. Some hope it will encourage more balanced storytelling that highlights resilience and personal growth alongside family drama. Others are simply enjoying the rare moment of cheering for someone they once criticized. In the end, whether Kody's positive momentum will last remains to be seen. Reality TV audiences are notoriously quick to shift opinions, and sustaining goodwill will require consistent behavior both on and off camera. Still, for now, Kody Brown has managed something few reality stars achieve, turning skepticism into genuine support, even if only temporarily. By embracing one of the toughest reality competitions on television, he has given fans, critics, and curious newcomers something unexpected, a reason to root for him. And if TLC plays its cards right, this burst of goodwill could mark the beginning of a brighter chapter for Sister Wives, one fueled not just by controversy but by a genuine desire to see what happens when its most polarizing figure steps up, faces challenges, and comes out stronger on the other side. Janelle Brown, one of the well-known stars of TLC's Sister Wives, has never been one to sensationalize drama for the cameras. Her calm demeanor, level-headed approach, and preference for honesty have earned her a reputation as the most practical member of the Brown family. Recently, however, Janelle made comments that have caused fans to revisit the early days of Robin Brown's entrance into the family and question whether all was as it seemed back then. From the start, Janelle's relationship with Kody was based more on partnership than romance. She valued stability, mutual respect, and cooperation above public displays of affection or whirlwind passion. When Kody met Robin in 2009, everything in the Brown household began to shift. The family had already been functioning under the strain of plural marriage, managing time, resources, and emotions between multiple wives, but Robin's arrival seemed to create a very different kind of atmosphere. Janelle has hinted in recent conversations and interviews that she sensed an unusual dynamic between Kody and Robin from their earliest interactions. According to her, there was a level of infatuation that was not typical of Kody's previous courtships or relationships with his other wives. She recalls noticing how Kody's attention became heavily focused on Robin almost immediately, often in ways that left the other wives feeling sidelined. While the Brown family had always promoted the idea that plural marriage was about equality and balance, Janelle subtly suggested that things shifted off balance during that time. She described moments when it felt as if Kody was prioritizing Robin's needs and desires far above those of the rest of the family. From how much time he spent with her to how protective he became, the early phase of their relationship set a tone that was very different from the collaborative model the Browns had once championed. Janelle noted that this change in Kody's behavior was not just noticeable to her, the children and other wives also picked up on it. Some felt that Kody and Robin shared a kind of emotional connection that was more exclusive and intense than what was considered healthy in a plural marriage. Janelle herself admits she tried to give them space at first, assuming it was simply the excitement of a new relationship. But as time went on, it became harder to ignore the long-term impact. One of the more telling signs in Janelle's view was how Kody became emotionally dependent on Robin's input in family matters. Decisions that once would have been discussed with all the wives began to feel like private conversations between just Kody and Robin. Janelle implied that she and the others sometimes learned about family plans or changes after they had already been decided, which undermined the sense of unity that was supposed to hold them together. Another key point Janelle raised was the way Kody seemed to adjust his own principles to accommodate Robin. In earlier years, the family operated under shared rules and expectations. But with Robin, Janelle observed that Kody often bent or modified these standards to fit Robin's preferences. Whether it was parenting styles, holiday traditions, or how they divided his time, Kody's flexibility for Robin appeared far greater than it had been for his other wives. Over time, Janelle began to wonder if Kody's relationship with Robin was fundamentally different in ways that made true plural marriage almost impossible. While she refrained from accusing either of wrongdoing outright, her choice of words hinted that she saw favoritism developing very early on. This favoritism, according to Janelle, didn't just cause tension, it slowly eroded the bonds between Kody and the other wives. She acknowledged that Robin brought certain positive qualities into the family, such as a willingness to communicate and an effort to integrate at first. However, these positives were often overshadowed by the growing sense of isolation the other wives experienced. Janelle hinted that she herself felt less connected to Kody after Robin's arrival, not because she was jealous, but because the balance of their family structure was shifting in a way that left her unsure of her role. Janelle's reflection on those years also touched on how Kody's focus on Robin may have influenced his relationships with the children. She noticed that his availability and attention seemed to skew toward Robin's household. This was particularly noticeable during important family events, where Janelle felt that Kody was sometimes more emotionally present for Robin's kids than for others. While she did not claim this was intentional, she could not ignore the effect it had on the broader family dynamic. Another area Janelle subtly addressed was the public narrative. In early seasons of Sister Wives, viewers saw Kody and Robin's courtship portrayed in a romantic light, with long walks, heartfelt conversations, and open affection. Janelle suggested that behind the scenes, this public romance may have inadvertently created an imbalance. She and the other wives had not experienced the same kind of spotlighted affection, which only emphasized the differences between Kody's relationship with Robin and his relationships with them. As the years went on, the early favoritism Janelle noticed became a major point of contention, eventually contributing to the unraveling of the Brown family's plural marriage. In hindsight, she sees the warning signs in those first months: the disproportionate attention, the shift in decision-making, the willingness to bend rules for Robin, as indicators that something about the relationship was destined to create division. While Janelle has since moved on and built an independent life for herself, her reflections carry weight because she was there from the start. She knew Kody long before Robin came into the picture and had experienced the earlier dynamics of the family. Her ability to compare those eras gives her perspective on how unusual Kody's behavior was during that period. Despite the challenges, Janelle has made it clear she doesn't harbor personal resentment toward Robin. Instead, she views the situation as a lesson in how imbalance and lack of transparency can harm even the most committed family structures. She acknowledges that Kody and Robin may have a genuine bond, but she also believes that the way it began set the stage for many of the struggles that followed. In conclusion, Janelle Brown's hints about Robin and Kody's early relationship serve as a reminder that in plural marriage, fairness and balance are not just ideals, they are the foundation that keeps the family intact. When one relationship becomes disproportionately prioritized, the entire structure can falter. For Janelle, looking back at those early days is less about blaming anyone and more about understanding how small imbalances can grow into irreparable divides. Her insights add another layer to the ongoing story of the Browns, giving fans a deeper understanding of the roots of their current family fractures. Janelle Brown has never been one to her personal life for the cameras, but when it came to discussing her separation from Kody Brown, the emotion in her voice was unmistakable. After decades in a plural marriage, raising children, navigating family relationships, and building a life within the of sister wives, Janelle reached a point where she could no longer ignore the widening gap between her and Kody. In a recent interview, she opened up about what she considers the most heartbreaking thing Kody ever did during that painful time, a moment that crystallized the reality that their marriage was no longer salvageable. For years, Janelle had been the pragmatic partner, often the one who avoided emotional drama and focused instead on raising her children and keeping the household functioning. But as the family's relationships grew strained, especially after Kody legally married Robyn and shifted his attention toward her household, Janelle began to feel like an outsider in her own marriage. She described how their relationship had already been strained by disagreements over COVID-19 protocols, the way resources were allocated, and Kody's insistence on prioritizing one wife's needs over others. But the moment that truly broke her heart was not a screaming argument or a public fight, it was silence. When the two were living separately and communication was reduced to the bare minimum, Janelle realized Kody had stopped checking in on her well-being altogether. Weeks went by without a phone call, without a text, without the simplest acknowledgement of her existence unless it related to something he needed for himself or the children. For Janelle, that absence spoke louder than any words could. She had endured disagreements and felt overlooked before, but this was different. The complete withdrawal of emotional connection was the clearest signal that, in Kody's mind, she was no longer a priority. She said it was like mourning someone who was still alive, a slow grieving process for a relationship that had been the center of her adult life. She recalled a specific holiday season when the entire Brown family was scattered. Traditionally, this time of year had been about togetherness, even if it meant navigating multiple households and complex schedules. But that year, Janelle found herself alone. She hadn't been invited to the gathering Kody attended with Robyn and their children. Not a single call came from him to wish her a Merry Christmas. For a woman who had spent decades making sure everyone felt included, that exclusion was crushing. Janelle emphasized that it wasn't about wanting lavish gifts or public displays of affection, it was about wanting to feel like her husband still saw her as his wife. Even after all the changes in their family structure, she had hoped there would be mutual respect and kindness. Instead, what she experienced was cold detachment. Friends had told her that sometimes in a long marriage, partners drift apart without realizing it, but Janelle knew this was different. It wasn't drifting, it was a deliberate choice. Kody had chosen to disengage. The heartbreaking thing was not simply that he neglected her emotionally, but that he seemed entirely comfortable doing so. Over the months that followed, Janelle tried to reach out, attempting to spark conversations about their future and whether there was a path forward. Each time, she was met with vague answers, defensiveness, or outright dismissal. She said it became painfully clear that Kody had no real interest in rebuilding their connection. He was investing his energy elsewhere, and she no longer fit into his vision of family life. This realization was both devastating and liberating. Janelle admitted that in some ways the lack of communication was what finally gave her the clarity she needed. It hurt deeply, but it also removed the illusion that their relationship could return to what it once was. She could no longer ignore the fact that the man she married had emotionally walked away long before they made any formal separation. Even after deciding to separate, the heartbreak lingered. She explained that what made it so painful was not just the loss of the marriage, but the loss of shared history and the sense of partnership they had once had. She thought about the early years when they had worked together to build homes, raise their children, and support the larger family vision. To see that disappear, not with a blowout fight but with quiet neglect, felt like a betrayal of everything they had built together. For Janelle, speaking about this publicly wasn't about assigning blame but about acknowledging her truth. She wanted others to understand that sometimes the most painful thing in a relationship isn't the arguments or the obvious betrayals, it's the slow erosion of care. She said that the indifference she felt from Kody was far more damaging than any disagreement they had ever had. Despite the pain, Janelle expressed that she has found strength in her independence. Since the separation, she has focused on her health, her business ventures, and her relationships with her children and grandchildren. She is also leaning on the deep friendships she has formed over the years, including those with her former sister wives who understand better than anyone the unique challenges of their plural marriage. Still, the wound of that holiday season, the silence, the lack of acknowledgement, remains a vivid memory. She said it was the moment she realized she deserved more than to be an afterthought in someone else's life. It was the final piece of evidence she needed to walk away with her head held high. Janelle's willingness to share this deeply personal experience has resonated with many fans, who have praised her for her strength and honesty. In a world where reality television often focuses on dramatic blow-ups and sensational moments, her story is a reminder that sometimes the quietest moments are the most telling. The absence of love and attention can speak volumes, and for Janelle it was a silence she could no longer ignore. Now, as she moves forward, she is committed to living a life where she is valued and cherished, whether by a partner or simply through her own self-respect. She believes that heartbreak, while deeply painful, can also be the starting point for transformation. Her journey is far from over, but she has made it clear that she will never again settle for a relationship where she is made to. When it comes to Sister Wives, the Brown family has given viewers countless plot twists over the years. Marriages, breakups, relocations, and plenty of behind-the-scenes drama. But one surprising detail that occasionally resurfaces in fan conversations is the idea that Robyn Brown, Kody Brown's fourth wife, part of the main storyline in the show, which leaves fans wondering, did they miss an episode where it was mentioned, or is this just a rumor blown out of proportion? Truth is, while Robyn has never been presented as a professional model in Sister Wives, there is some truth to the idea that she's done modeling work, just not in the way people might imagine. Confusion stems from a combination of her past career, old photographs, and her appearances in promotional shoots for projects connected to the family. Fans who have been watching since her first appearance in Season 1 know that Robyn's entry into the Brown family in 2010 brought a wave of curiosity about her life before Kody. TLC introduced her as a divorced mother of 3 who was new to the plural marriage lifestyle, but much of her personal history was kept fairly private. Some of that history includes her time involved in business and promotional ventures. Before Sister Wives, Robyn worked in sales, including a stint promoting products where modeling skills came into play. She also posed for catalog-style images and was involved in photo shoots that showcased clothing and accessories. While this isn't the type of high-fashion modeling seen in magazines like Vogue, it does fall under the broad category of commercial modeling, the kind used to market everyday items to consumers. Fans also recall the My Sister Wife's Closet era, when Robyn spearheaded the family's jewelry and accessory business. As the creative force behind the brand, she not only designed products but also modeled them for the company's website and promotional materials. Many of the photos from this time show Robyn wearing the jewelry, often in styled poses that resemble professional modeling shoots. Because the images were intended for e-commerce use, they had a polished and intentional look, which may have contributed to the belief that Robyn had prior modeling experience. Beyond business projects, there are also personal photos that occasionally make the rounds on fan forums. Some of these images from before she met Kody show Robyn in professional hair and makeup, wearing fashionable outfits and posing in ways that look like portfolio shots. Whether these were taken for personal reasons, a small-scale modeling job, or simply as part of a photographer's creative project, they've added fuel to the rumor mill. For viewers who've only seen Robyn in the casual, family-oriented setting of Sister Wives, these older photos can feel like a completely different side of her. Interestingly, Robyn has never made a big deal about this aspect of her past on the show. She hasn't sat down in a confessional and announced, "I used to be a model," nor has TLC framed her as having a glamorous career before marrying Kody. If anything, her focus has always been shown as family, design work, and navigating the complexities of plural marriage. That's part of why the idea of her modeling comes as a surprise. It's not a core storyline, but rather in her personal history. The notion that Robyn did modeling fits into a long tradition of reality TV viewers wanting to know every detail about the people they watch each week. In the same way that past jobs, high school photos, and old social media posts get analyzed for other cast members, Robyn's past modeling-related activities have become a topic of fascination. Some fans view this tidbit as evidence that Robyn has always been comfortable in front of a camera. They point out that her ease during interviews and her polished on-screen presence might come, at least in part, from posing for professional photographers. Others argue that it's not modeling in the traditional sense but simply participation in small business promotions, something many people do without considering it. It's also worth noting that modeling means different things to different people. For some, it's the high-fashion runway and glossy magazine covers. For others, it includes catalog work, product photography, or even promotional appearances at events. Robyn's modeling, if you call it that, likely falls into the commercial and promotional categories rather than the fashion industry. That nuance might why the show hasn't emphasized it. It's part of her past but not a defining. The timeline of her modeling-adjacent work is also a bit unclear. Fans who've pieced together old photos suggest that some were taken well before Sister Wives, while others, especially the My Sister Wife's Closet promotional images, happened during her time on the show. 'Cause Sister Wives has aired for over a decade, and the Browns' public life has been well documented, these images surface and resurface in online discussions, keeping the topic alive. In terms of fan reactions, they're split. Some people think the discovery is fun and adds a layer to Robyn's personality. They see it as a harmless detail that explains her poised demeanor and maybe even her knack for presenting herself in a certain way. Others, however, view it as further proof of what they perceive as Robyn's desire for the spotlight, a narrative that has followed her since she joined the family. Critics often accuse Robyn of being the favorite wife and of subtly steering family decisions. In that light, any past experience that involved being front and center, including modeling, can be interpreted as part of a larger pattern. Supporters push that modeling a few products or taking part in a photo shoot doesn't make someone attention-seeking. It just means they took opportunities that came their way. Regardless of which side you're on, the fact remains that Sister Wives never devoted an episode to exploring Robyn's modeling. If you're waiting to rewatch the series looking for a scene where Kody talks about it or where Robyn shows off an old portfolio, you won't find it. The show has always focused more on interpersonal relationships, plural marriage logistics, and the family's major life changes. This particular detail exists mostly outside the main storyline, living on in fan speculation and the occasional resurfacing photo set. So, did you miss that episode? No, because it never aired. The whole, Robyn was a model in the background of her life story, fueled by old promotional shoots, catalog photos, and the polished images from My Sister Wife's Closet. It's a reminder that reality TV stars have histories that don't always make it into the edit, and that fans will always dig deep to connect the dots. In the end, whether you call it modeling or just promotional work, it's one more layer in the multifaceted life of Robyn Brown. And for a show that's been running as long as Sister Wives, even small details like this can feel like big discoveries to fans. It's not a missing episode, it's just a side of Robyn that the cameras didn't. But in the world of reality TV, sometimes the off-camera backstory is just as interesting as what makes it to air. Janelle Brown's personal journey has taken center stage in the latest developments surrounding Sister Wives, and fans are starting to wonder if the mother of 6 is inching closer to re-entering the dating world. Through years of a plural marriage with Kody Brown and a dramatic separation that played out both on-screen and in real life, Janelle has been focusing on her independence, personal growth, and healing. However, subtle hints in her public statements, social media posts, and interviews suggest she may be softening her stance on romance, possibly even reconsidering her earlier decision to avoid dating altogether. When Janelle walked away from her spiritual marriage to Kody, she made it clear that her priority was herself, her children, and her business ventures. At the time, she was adamant that she wasn't looking for another relationship. She emphasized that she wanted to reclaim her freedom, find her own rhythm, and rebuild her life without the pressures of a partnership. This firm declaration gave fans the impression that she would remain single for the foreseeable future. But recently, her demeanor and choice of words have shifted, hinting that her perspective may be evolving. One of the first signs that Janelle might be warming up to the idea of dating is her noticeable confidence boost. Over the last year, she's shared updates about her weight loss, fitness journey, and healthy lifestyle changes. She has often spoken about feeling better in her own skin and enjoying newfound energy. This transformation, both physical and emotional, often marks the beginning of a readiness to meet new people. Friends close to her have commented that Janelle seems more open, more vibrant, and more willing to explore opportunities she might have once dismissed. Social media has also played a role in fueling speculation. Janelle's Instagram posts have become more personal and less guarded. While she still shares updates about her Plexus business and family, she has been sprinkling in light-hearted, playful captions and selfies that showcase her glow-up. In the world of reality TV fans, this kind of content shift is often seen as a prelude to someone putting themselves back out there. Observers have pointed out that she's engaging more with followers in her comment section, sharing positive affirmations, and projecting a sense of hopefulness that wasn't as present in the immediate aftermath of her breakup. Interviews have added another layer to the conversation. Janelle has been careful with her words when asked about dating, but she no longer delivers a flat-out no to the idea. Instead, she has made comments like, "I'm really happy where I am right now, but I'm not going to say never," and "you never know what the future might bring." These kinds of statements signal a softening of her previous stance, leaving the door cracked open for potential romantic connections down the line. Another possible clue lies in the way Janelle has been embracing new social circles. She's been traveling more, attending events, and reconnecting with old friends. By expanding her social environment beyond the tight-knit sister-wives family circle, she's positioning herself to meet new people naturally. Some fans have noted that she has been spotted at gatherings where singles are present, though there's no confirmation that she's been on an official date. Still, the willingness to engage socially in this way is often the first step toward a relationship. Her children, too, seem to be playing a part in her changing mindset. Several of Janelle's kids are now grown and living independently, which has given her more personal freedom. She no longer has to focus all her energy on raising young children, which could make the idea of companionship more appealing. In interviews, she's mentioned the importance of her family's support and hinted that they just want her to be happy, whether that means staying single or finding someone new. The reality TV environment also can't be ignored. Fans have watched other Sister Wives stars like Christine Brown move on to new, fulfilling relationships after leaving Kody. Christine's engagement to David Woolley has been widely celebrated in the fan community, and it's possible that seeing her friend and former co-wife find love again has inspired Janelle to reconsider what's possible for her own future. Publicly, Janelle has been supportive of Christine's romance, and she's expressed joy at seeing her friend happy. That kind of positivity can be contagious, planting seeds of curiosity about what it might feel like to experience something similar. While Janelle hasn't made any dramatic declarations about jumping back into the dating pool, the combination of her physical transformation, more open social habits, careful wording in interviews, and a visible boost in confidence all point toward a woman who might be ready to explore the idea. Fans have started speculating about what kind of partner would suit her, someone who values independence, respects her business ambitions, and shares her love of adventure. It's also important to note that Janelle is a pragmatic person. She's unlikely to rush into a relationship simply for the sake of not being alone. If she does date again, it will likely be on her own terms and at her own pace. This cautious approach means that any potential partner will need to meet her high standards for trust, respect, and compatibility. In the broader context of Sister Wives, Janelle's dating life could add an interesting new dynamic to the ongoing story. While her departure from Kody has already reshaped the family's relationships, the introduction of a new love interest could further shift the narrative. Viewers have seen how Christine's new romance brought fresh energy to her storyline, and producers might hope for a similar development with Janelle. For now, the signs are subtle but increasingly hard to ignore. Whether it's a strategic social media shift, a change in body language, or a newfound openness in her interviews, Janelle is giving off the impression of a woman who's no longer completely closed off to romance. She may not have officially changed her mind yet, but stronger than it did a year ago. Ultimately, Janelle's journey is about choice. Her choice to leave an unhappy marriage, her choice to focus on herself, and if she decides, her choice to welcome someone new into her life. Whatever she decides, fans are eager to see how her next chapter unfolds. Whether she stays single and continues thriving independently or takes the leap into dating again, Janelle has already proven that she can rebuild and redefine her life on her own terms.